The Bold and the Beautiful, week of February 16, 20 preview. I was thinking this week on The Bold and the Beautiful is going to be intense, especially for Eric Forrester. From my perspective, it seems like Donna Logan Forrester is about to step up in a big way. She's going to demand that Eric get a proper checkup after a scare at home. It all kicks off with Eric feeling the pressure of creating a brand new collection for Katie Logan Spencer. Now, here's where it gets messy. Bill Spencer is pushing him to finish faster than anyone could reasonably expect. I was wondering how Eric would handle it, and honestly, it's no surprise that this kind of pressure is going to take a toll. I mean, coming out of retirement is one thing, but pushing himself like he's still 20? That's just asking for trouble. And sure enough, Eric has a medical episode that leaves him struggling for air. Watching him gasp like that, I don't know about you, but to me, that was one of those moments where you just want to shake him and say, "Go to the hospital, Eric," which, conveniently, Donna does. She insists he get checked out, but Eric, being stubborn as ever, wants to keep working. I get it. He's passionate. But this is one of those times where pride might just land him in hot water. Meanwhile, across town, Hope Logan Spencer starts poking around, curious if Liam has caught wind of Logan's new designer. Eventually, Liam can't keep the secret, and he spills the beans. Eric is back in the game. Predictably, the news makes its way to Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan Forrester, and things get, well, explosive. I think it's safe to say the clash between Ridge and Eric is going to be full-on drama, and with Eric's breathing still uneven, it could get dangerous if tempers flare too high. Eventually, I suspect Eric will get that medical checkup. He has to, right? And try to explain why taking the Logan position meant so much to him. To me, this could be a moment of reflection for him, trying to show that his heart is in the right place, even if his timing is questionable. On a different front, Will Spencer is trying his best to smooth things over with Electra Forrester, but she's having none of it when it comes to Dylan staying in his guest room. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Ivy Forrester might get an opportunity to stir things up after eavesdropping on Will and Electra in the showroom. Drama lovers, you know that's going to be juicy. As for Dylan, she's got a golden opportunity. With Electra sidelined, Dylan can step in and try to win Will's attention, maybe even showing him that happiness could be right under his nose. I'm curious to see how far she'll go and whether she'll stick to her original plans or mix things up along the way. So, if you ask me, this week is shaping up to be one of those classic B&B weeks. Tension, heartbreak, and a little bit of scheming. Eric's health, the designer drama, and the love triangle involving Will, Electra, and Dylan. There's a lot to unpack, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. The latest Bold and the Beautiful spoilers have me thinking, this Electra Forrester and Dylan drama is getting intense. Honestly, I'm torn. Am I Team Electra or Team Dylan? Or am I just Team Chaos at this point? To me, it feels like nobody here is making the right choices. Everyone's got points, but everyone's also messing up big time. Take Electra, for example. She jumped way too quickly on Ivy Forrester's side about Dylan's behavior. Instead of actually listening to Dylan and Will explain themselves, she exploded and dropped an ultimatum on Will. I get it. Electra is insecure, but her approach has been a little brutal. And honestly, if she couldn't trust Dylan, why even be friends in the first place? It makes her look kind of cold, especially since she's ready to kick Dylan out and basically send her back to living in her car. Harsh. On the flip side, there's truth in what Ivy was saying about Dylan acting inappropriately. Will and Dylan weren't sneaking around behind Electra's back, but some of Dylan's actions were definitely over the line. Doing a private ballet show for Will, or sharing all those personal moments? That crossed a boundary. Babysitting Hayes together was fine, but Dylan blurred the lines between friendship and, well, something a little more intimate. Still, I don't think Dylan and Will are having some dramatic secret affair. Dylan is genuinely struggling, trying to get her life together, and it's easy to see why Will doesn't want to throw her out. Realistically, the smartest move would be for Will to talk to Dollar Bill Spencer, the same guy who recently gave Katie Logan Spencer an entire fashion house, and see if he could help Dylan find a place to stay. But Will seems convinced that Dylan living on his property is the only option, so we're in for more debates between him and Elektra in the coming episodes. From where I'm sitting, Elektra seems determined to stick to her guns about the romantic split as long as Dylan is under the same roof, which makes for some seriously tense drama. So, who am I rooting for? Honestly, I'm somewhere in the middle, laughing at the mess, but also wondering how this will all blow up next. Are you Team Elektra or Team Dylan? Because the spoilers hint that things are only going to get messier from here. Buckle up, because the drama isn't slowing down anytime soon. Next week on The Bold and the Beautiful, Carter Walton and his new bride, Daphne Rose, are keeping the romance alive on their honeymoon. And yes, things are heating up in the bedroom. It feels like Carter just got that ring on Daphne's finger, and now he's already talking about starting a family. To me, that seems awfully fast. But then again, this is B&B, and anything can happen. Is the Forrester lawyer's fairy tale ending too perfect to last? Valentine's Day was the perfect backdrop for a wedding, and fans watched with bated breath as Carter finally tied the knot. Considering his track record with fiancés, I have to admit I was a little shocked when Daphne actually showed up at the altar and said, "I do." It almost feels like a miracle. Next week, spoilers hint that their honeymoon isn't slowing down. Now officially husband and wife, Carter and Daphne are eager to start a family. Daphne will be focused on trying to conceive, while Carter is already dreaming about being a dad in 9 months. For now, it seems like all's well that ends well. But in this soap, can anything really be that simple? I can't help but remember what showrunner Bradley Bell said about Daphne last year. He teased that someone from her past is bound to arrive in Los Angeles and shake things up. If that's true, Carter may have just married someone with a major secret, and that secret could change everything. So, what if Daphne gets pregnant, and Carter suddenly realizes he made a huge mistake? To me, that scenario feels entirely possible, and probably inevitable in classic B&B fashion. Is Carter's happily ever after really as perfect as it seems, or is trouble just around the corner? The latest bold and the beautiful spoilers are here for the week of February 16th, 2026, and things are getting intense. First off, we're dealing with a major health scare. Eric Forrester is in serious trouble, and yes, 911 is called. But before we get to that, let's talk secrets. Liam Spencer has one that's weighing heavily on him. He's been hiding the truth about Eric secretly working as Katie Logan Spencer's lead designer. Right now, only Katie, Bill Spencer, Liam, and Donna Logan Forrester know about this arrangement. But secrets this juicy never stay hidden for long. Even though Bill and Eric urged Liam to keep quiet, I get the feeling he couldn't hold it in. He admits that telling Hope will be tough, but let's be honest, Liam's honesty streak has its limits. Sure enough, he ends up confiding in her anyway. But surprisingly, Hope doesn't immediately run to Brooke Logan Forrester. The truth comes out a bit later when Bill and Katie spill the beans to Brooke and Ridge Forrester themselves. Drama, as always, finds its way. Now, about Eric. Early in the week, Bill is pushing him to hurry up on something, and by Tuesday, Eric is in trouble. He starts having serious breathing problems. Donna, ever the caring one, tries to get him to see a doctor, but he refuses. Classic Eric, right? Things escalate later in the week with a fierce confrontation between Ridge and Eric. Ridge and Eric's yelling match is brutal, and even though Ridge apologizes, the damage is done. Eric's breathing suddenly takes a turn for the worse, and finally, Ridge has no choice but to call 911. Meanwhile, on the romantic front, Will Spencer is trying to win back Elektra Forrester. Instead of sending Dylan away from the beach house, he pins the blame on Ivy Forrester. Later, after heartbreak hits, Dylan steps in to console Will. This time, Will actually accepts Dylan's embrace, but he doesn't look exactly thrilled. And honestly, can't he see the signs? Dylan's obsession is getting a little too intense, especially with him calling Will my prince. It's practically waving a neon red flag. Kind of reminds me of Luna Nozawa's intensity from before. Yikes. So there's a lot to unpack this week. Eric's health scare, hidden secrets spilling out, and romantic entanglements that are teetering on obsession. To me, the question is, who will survive this week unscathed? And who's about to blow up? B&B is serving up jaw-dropping drama this week as secrets about Eric's designs finally come to light, sparking a tense showdown with Ridge. And as if the design feud wasn't enough, Eric's health takes a frightening turn, sending shockwaves through every relationship in Los Angeles. From February 1620, the must-see moments unfold like a ticking time bomb. I didn't realize just how explosive revealing Eric as Katie's designer would be, but watching Ridge and Eric clash is nothing short of devastating. And then there's Eric's breathing issues. Seriously, who thought a fashion feud could be this intense? Here's how the week shakes out. Monday, February 16th, 9716. Bill is on a mission, pushing Eric to finish his designs. Talk about pressure. Tuesday, February 17th, 9717. Things get scary when Eric starts having trouble breathing. Donna tries to convince him to go to the hospital, but you know how stubborn Eric can be. Wednesday, February 18th, 9718. Liam finally tells Hope the truth about Eric. Meanwhile, Bill and Katie drop the bombshell to Brooke and Ridge. Yep, Eric is Katie's designer. Cue the dramatic gasps. Thursday, February 19th, 9719. The confrontation we've all been waiting for. Eric versus Ridge. It's intense, it's heartbreaking, and the consequences are serious. Friday, February 20th, 9720. Eric comes clean to Brooke and Ridge, laying everything out. Meanwhile, Electra and Will are each navigating the rocky waters of their relationship, separately. To me, this week feels like a turning point. Secrets, confrontations, and health scares collide in true B&B style. I was wondering how long they could keep this tension simmering, and honestly, it's a roller coaster you don't want to miss. The week on The Bold and the Beautiful kicks off with tension simmering behind the scenes as Bill ramps up the pressure on Eric to finish designs for Logan. After being pushed out of Forrester Creations, Eric is determined to prove he still has the magic touch, but the stress might come at a personal cost. Monday, February 16th, brings a must-watch moment as Bill pushes Eric to speed things up for Katie's new fashion house. To me, it feels like Bill is testing just how far Eric is willing to go to reclaim his creative spark, and maybe even his dignity. It wasn't long ago that Ridge decided Eric needed to retire. Eric fought back, insisting he still had plenty of designs in him, but Ridge didn't budge. He went ahead with a retirement party that, honestly, probably felt more like a farewell slap than a celebration. Being forced out of Forrester left Eric melancholy, and even the holiday season couldn't lift his spirits. Then came a surprising twist. Bill gifted Katie her own fashion house when they remarried. She needed a designer, and Eric was suddenly available. To me, this felt like the universe handing him a second chance. Katie was thrilled to have Eric join her team, and I think Eric might secretly have felt the first spark of excitement in months. The fun part? The whole team kept Eric's return under wraps. While Katie and Brooke argued over the perfect name for the new fashion house, Eric dove headfirst into his designs. In the end, Katie decided on Logan, marking a fresh start for her company, and a new chapter for Eric as well. It seems to me that the season is setting up a high-stakes game of ambition, loyalty, and creativity. Can Eric rise to the challenge, or will the pressure get the better of him? Either way, I don't think we're going to be bored anytime soon. How many more times is Ridge Forrester going to put his poor dad in the hospital on The Bold and the Beautiful? Next week's promos show Eric Forrester shouting at his son, only to clutch his chest moments later as his frantic family dials 911. And this isn't the first time. The patriarch almost died from the same thing a few years ago. It makes me wonder, has John McCook's time finally run out on Bold and Beautiful? For the past 5 years, rumors have swirled that the legendary actor was gearing up for retirement. But every time, he reassured fans that he wasn't going anywhere. Back in 23, Eric Forrester nearly died, and Dr. Finn somehow worked his usual miracle. At that point, McCook made it clear he wasn't ready to leave. But now, with Eric facing another medical scare, I can't help but wonder if this storyline is setting up something different this time. McCook has been bringing Eric Forrester to life since the very first episode in 1987, nearly 4 decades of soap opera history. And with his 82nd birthday coming up soon, who could blame him if he decided it's finally time to retire and enjoy his golden years with his wife and family? If this ends up being Eric Forrester's final hurrah, it's going to be a crushing storyline for Ridge. I can imagine Ridge blaming himself for all the stress he's put on his dad, possibly even forcing him into retirement. The poor guy just wanted to draw dresses. But it looks like Ridge won't carry the blame alone. Soap spoilers suggest that some responsibility will fall on Eric's new bosses, Katie and Bill Spencer. Katie knows he has health issues. Should she have really piled on the pressure? So, the big question looms. Will Eric Forrester pull off another miraculous recovery, or is John McCook finally ready to bow out? Either way, the drama is far from over, and the next episodes promise heartbreak, tension, and that classic Forrester family chaos we can't look away from. The Bold and the Beautiful. Week of February 16, 2026. Secrets, shock, and fashion drama. I was thinking this week on The Bold and the Beautiful might just be one of the juiciest yet. From Eric's surprising involvement in Katie's fashion house to Ivy dropping a bomb on Dylan, it feels like every secret is finally coming to light, and the fallout is going to shake everyone. Katie's new fashion house seems to be teetering on the edge, and to me, it looks like Eric might be the wild card nobody expected. After a worrying breathing episode, and with Donna practically forcing him to the hospital, Eric has to face Brooke and Ridge. I can only imagine the tension. How will Ridge react to the idea that Eric might be colluding with the enemy? And Brooke, well, she's never one to hold back, so I'm bracing for fireworks. Meanwhile, Liam finally decides to spill the beans to Hope about Eric's new position at Logan. I wasn't expecting him to stay silent for long, but being sworn to secrecy by Bill really put him in a tight spot. Now, with Hope learning that her husband has been keeping secrets, I wonder if their newly minted marriage will face its first real test. Can she forgive Liam, or is this going to cause cracks in their relationship? And then there's the drama with Elektra and Will. Last week, Elektra stormed out after Will refused to cut ties with Dylan. This week, the fallout dominates their storylines. I think we'll see a lot of soul-searching and tension as both try to navigate the chaos Ivy stirred up. And with Dylan calling Will her prince to close out the week, her adoration and persistence is clearly not fading anytime soon. Here's how the week breaks down. Monday, February 16th, 2026. Bill rushes Eric to complete his designs. Pressure's on, and stakes are high. Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Eric suffers a troubling breathing episode. Donna insists he go to the hospital. Maybe this is the wake-up call he can't ignore. Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. Liam finally tells Hope the truth about Eric. Bill and Katie reveal to Brooke and Ridge that Eric is working as Katie's designer. The reactions should be priceless. Thursday, February 19th, 26. Eric and Ridge have a confrontation with what looks to be devastating results. I'm expecting sparks and maybe a few broken alliances. Friday, February 20th, 2026. Eric comes clean to Brooke and Ridge. Finally, the truth is out. Elektra and Will separately grapple with the fallout in their relationship. Will they find a way back to each other, or are the cracks too deep? All in all, it feels like this week is about secrets unraveling and loyalties being tested. I'm not sure anyone comes out unscathed, and honestly, that's what makes this drama so addictive. The Bold and the Beautiful might be gearing up for its most explosive Forrester family shakeup yet. Eric's hidden designer role is about to come crashing into the open, and while Ridge is bracing for a shock, the real game changer could be Thomas. His return might set off a power play no one saw coming. Thomas has been quietly designing in Paris, but he's been watching everything unfold at home. The tension between Eric and Ridge has reached a tipping point, and someone is going to be forced to pick a side. That someone could very well be Thomas, but I'm not convinced his motives are straightforward. Thomas understands Eric's frustration on a personal level. He's fought for his own place at the family table before, and that shared experience might push him to publicly back Eric. Yet Thomas's loyalty isn't simple. He's been carefully rebuilding his reputation, and isn't about to let Ridge's anger derail him. This whole situation could be Thomas's chance to step up, grab influence, and carve out a bigger role within Forrester. Ridge, as always, expects Thomas to follow family tradition. He assumes Thomas will join in the outrage when Eric's secret is exposed. But what if Thomas refuses to attack Eric? That refusal could feel like betrayal to Ridge, opening a rift between father and son deeper than anyone anticipated. And of course, this tension won't stay under wraps. Steffi will rush to protect Ridge, Brooke will question Thomas's intentions, and family dinners could turn into full-blown battlegrounds. The Forrester name, once a symbol of legacy, might become the very spark of conflict. And that chaos gives Thomas the leverage he's been waiting for. Eric's work under Katie adds an unexpected boost to the Logan brand, which indirectly benefits Hope. Thomas has watched Hope's line rise and fall over the years, and he knows just how valuable momentum can be. By supporting Eric, he strengthens Hope's brand while quietly cementing his own influence within Forrester. So don't be fooled. Thomas's return might not be about restoring peace. It could be a calculated strategy. He might place himself squarely between two feuding generations and gain the control no one planned to hand him. Once Eric's secret is out, the family won't simply move on. Trust will fracture, alliances will form, and Thomas could step into the spotlight amid the chaos. The bold and the beautiful seems poised for a new leadership war, and Thomas might not calm the storm. He might rise because of it. Bill was relentless, pushing Eric harder than ever to finish his designs. I could see it. It wasn't just stress. Eric was struggling, his breaths coming in short, shallow gasps. It was clear something was seriously wrong. Donna immediately stepped in, insisting they get Eric to the hospital. The tension was palpable. Every second counted, and yet the pressure from Bill and Katie kept looming over them. Meanwhile, the secret was starting to unravel. Bill and Katie felt compelled to finally come clean to Brooke and Ridge. Eric wasn't just any designer. He was their lead designer, the talent behind the collections they'd admired. When Eric himself faced Brooke and Ridge, the truth poured out raw and unfiltered. What followed was explosive. Ridge, feeling betrayed, confronted Eric with a fury that neither of them could contain. Words were exchanged, accusations flew, and in that confrontation, the consequences became painfully real, changing relationships and futures forever. To me, it was one of those moments where you realize that ambition, secrets, and pressure can collide with devastating intensity. I wasn't sure if anyone would walk away unscathed. I was genuinely surprised when I saw the news. Ashley Brewer, the Bold and the Beautiful star, is expecting her first child with her husband, Mark Bach. Honestly, it feels like just yesterday she was back on the show, stirring up drama as Ivy Forrester, and now she's stepping into this new chapter of her life. Brewer, 35, shared the announcement on Instagram over the weekend, showing off her baby bump with a caption that said, "We are so excited!" She's officially in her third trimester, which makes me think, what a whirlwind it must be, balancing a pregnancy with a high-paced soap opera schedule. In a candid chat with Stellar, she revealed the behind-the-scenes tricks she's been using to hide her bump while filming. Sometimes it's clever wardrobe choices, other times it's strategically holding a bag in front of her. But the funniest part? She admits there are moments she forgets she's pregnant while shooting, only to have a director whisper, "Ashley, you're just rubbing your tummy." Honestly, I think that little grounding moment must feel surreal, like a tiny reminder that life continues, even amid the scripted chaos of a soap set. The response from her co-stars has been heartwarming. Kimberlyn Brown jokingly urged her to bring the photos to Montana. Rena Sofer, Lindsay Godfrey, Darren Brooks, Rebecca Budig, Linnea Grace, and Sydney Bullock all chimed in with excitement, love, and admiration. It's clear the cast is genuinely thrilled for her, and honestly, it's kind of wonderful to see that kind of supportive energy in Hollywood. For anyone who's followed Brewer's journey, it's wild to think she debuted as Ivy back in July 2014, left in 2018, and then returned in March 2024. In an interview with TV Week, she shared her excitement about her character's return, teasing that Ivy is back with lots of drama and a little Aussie spice. It makes me wonder how much of that spice she's bringing to her own real-life adventure right now, pregnancy, career, and all. To me, this feels like one of those moments where the line between life and art blurs. On screen, Ivy ruffles feathers. Off screen, Ashley Brewer is embracing a completely new, beautiful role, and I can't wait to see how she shines in it. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of February 16, 20 are turning up the heat, and it looks like Will Spencer has found someone to blame. And it's none other than Ivy Forrester. Ivy comes along, and she's just ruining everything, Will complains to Electra Forrester, right as Ivy is conveniently eavesdropping. Classic soap timing. Electra fires back. If the roles were reversed, I don't think you'd want a guy living with you, proving that family confrontations never get old in this saga. Meanwhile, tensions escalate between Eric Forrester and Ridge Forrester. Eric insists, I can still create designs, but Ridge cuts him off, saying, enough of this, I apologize. Eric, however, isn't letting it go quietly. And you're trying to take it away from me, he says, right before a sudden medical emergency throws everyone into panic mode. Bill Spencer rushes in, shouting, Eric! As someone calls 911. In a whirlwind of drama, Bill pushes Eric to finish his designs, but Eric's health takes a turn as he struggles to breathe. Donna urges him to go to the hospital, while Liam delivers the truth about Eric to Hope. In the midst of the chaos, Bill and Katie reveal to Brooke and Ridge that Eric is actually Katie's designer, a revelation that sends shockwaves through the Forrester family. Confrontations between Eric and Ridge escalate, culminating in devastating consequences, and Eric finally comes clean to both Ridge and Brooke. Meanwhile, Electra and Will are each left to navigate the fallout in their complicated relationship. Looking back at recent events, the drama keeps piling on. Steffi Forrester threw Daphne Rose a bachelorette party, only for Carter to surprise her with an impromptu wedding. Ivy exposed Will and Dylan, and Deacon Sharp laid his feelings for Taylor Hayes on the table to Ridge. In the world of The Bold and the Beautiful, you never know when a seemingly small moment will explode into full-blown chaos. This week on The Bold and the Beautiful, the drama between Will, Dylan, and Ivy reached a boiling point. I think Will finally needed the full truth, so he confronted Dylan at Il Giardino. Dylan admitted that Ivy had manipulated him into pretending he had a job offer to leave town. Classic Ivy. Things got even messier when Electra joined them, and the full scope of Ivy's scheme came out. When Ivy showed up to defend herself, she tried to shift the blame, claiming Dylan had behaved inappropriately while Electra was away in San Francisco. I was surprised by how quickly this escalated, because Electra then told Will he had to choose, Dylan or her. Will's refusal to comply set up a real standoff, and I couldn't help but wonder how far he was willing to go to protect Dylan. Meanwhile, love was in the air for Carter and Daphne. Carter asked Ridge to be his best man and suggested a wedding in the Forrester showroom. To me, the spontaneity of it was shocking. Carter even proposed they get married immediately. When their friends unexpectedly showed up, Daphne agreed, and the pair exchanged vows without a single objection. Honestly, a daytime soap with zero objections at a wedding feels like a miracle. That night, the newlyweds celebrated in a hotel, and after sharing an intimate moment, they talked about their dream home and their plans to start a family right away. It's sweet, but I couldn't help thinking about how fast everything was moving. Typical soap opera pace. Over with Ridge, Taylor, and Deacon, tensions were high. Ridge confronted both Taylor and Deacon about their growing closeness and warned Deacon to stay away from her. He stressed that if Sheila found out, it could endanger Taylor, Steffi, and the kids. Taylor reluctantly agreed to end things, though Deacon clearly struggled with the separation. I think Sheila's attempts to create a romantic evening for Deacon hinted at her suspicions, but he remained distant and dismissive. She could sense something was off, and I was left wondering just how long Deacon could keep his emotions in check. Overall, this week was a whirlwind of secrets, sudden weddings, and emotional tension.